Hello world, I'm Dragontize, I mesmerize with voice and eyes. This file is going to be freeze trigger training, and it's for obedience, little subjects who enjoy trance and obedience and would like to try responding to a freeze trigger. Who would like it if every time I said freeze in a file or session, they would freeze in place, their body going still, frozen in the position it was in when I said freeze, until I say unfreeze. So if that's you, get yourself into a nice, comfortable position. Loosen any tight clothing that might make you less comfortable so that you can be more comfortable as you begin to focus in on the sound of my voice. And as you begin to focus in on the sound of my voice, you may notice how comfortable you already are or how comfortable you're becoming. You may notice that as the comfort increases, the focus also increases and you begin to sink more into the sound of my voice. That's right, and you may notice now, or perhaps a little bit later, how your breathing begins to slow down as you become more comfortable and focused, more relaxed to the sound of my voice as you're zoning in and other sounds start to seem less important. You may notice them, but they're not important as you tune them out and focus on the sound of my voice and how it's helping you to relax. It slows your breathing, that's right. And as you feel your breathing slowing and settling into a nice, relaxed rhythm as your mind is focusing on the sound of my voice, you realize that by obeying and getting yourself comfortable, you began to give in already, and that this is helping you to sink into a nice, deep state of trance as you relax into the focus on the sound of my voice and the trancy feelings that have been growing in your body all this time. And as you relax and sink a little bit deeper into that trancy focus, you find that all the sounds around you are just fading away as you focus in on the sound of my relaxing voice. And as my voice is relaxing you and taking you deeper, you begin to think about that trigger and how much fun it might be if I could freeze you just by ordering you to freeze, that's right. And how stuck you would be until I say unfreeze if that trigger was working. And maybe right now you could practice by twirling a finger around. And then when I say freeze, you stop, you hold it in place until I say unfreeze, and then you begin to twirl it around again. Maybe a little faster, so that the next time I say freeze, it stops suddenly, that's right. Until I say unfreeze and you move it around again. That's right, and maybe you get your arm into it, or maybe you're blinking, opening and closing your eyes and moving your finger until I say freeze, and then your eyes freeze and your finger freezes and you stop and you hold that position until I say unfreeze and you begin to move again. Whatever way seems right for your body, maybe twirling your finger around, maybe opening and closing your eyes, maybe also twitching your toes around until I say freeze. And then you hold everything still until I say unfreeze, and then you begin to twitch your toes around, twirl your fingers, move your hand, move your eyes, move your face until I say freeze, and then you hold it all still until I say unfreeze, and you're moving your hand and your toes and your hand, and drop deep into trance for me, that's right. Let your body relax and sink down and down deeper. Focus on the sound of my voice. And know that with practice, that freeze may feel automatic. Your body may begin to feel a bit stuck until I say unfreeze. Now, of course, If you need to move for some reason of safety, or if you heard something you needed to take care of, like a knock on the door, or an alarm you set earlier reminding you of something, you would be able to wake yourself and move and respond and take care of that. But unless something like that comes up, if you start to move and I say freeze, you'll find yourself stuck, still unmoving, until I say unfreeze. So you can stay in this lovely trancey state as you open your eyes, so that you can look at your hand moving. You can let it just move. Let it move around any way that seems right, any movement that suits the moment. You can watch it and then freeze it when I say freeze. That's right. Then move it again when I say unfreeze. Just whatever seems right. It may seem silly, you may giggle, and if I freeze you, your face might be frozen in that giggly expression as your hand holds still, and your body holds still until I say unfreeze, and then you move again. You can move any way that seems right. You could start to count your fingers down. Start to fold them down one at a time until I say freeze, and then they're frozen like that. And maybe if I say unfreeze, you start to count them back up again, even though you still feel pretty entranced when I say freeze and you stop moving. Of course, you're still breathing and your heart's still beating and you're still doing anything you need to keep safe. Maybe without even noticing, your body will adjust to make you more comfortable, but you'll still feel so frozen and controlled until I say unfreeze, because you're so obedient. That's right. Just obeying with your body and your mind freezing in place, stuck, still, so that even if you try to move, even if you try to strain and struggle against that, maybe you're still frozen until I say unfreeze. Or maybe you're just practicing, going along with it on purpose so that you stop when I say freeze, because you want to obey and want to practice and want to train yourself to stay frozen until I say unfreeze. That's right. Obeying with your body as your mind obeys, as you obey the command to freeze. Good, that's right. Staying still, staying stuck until I say unfreeze. And maybe you could get yourself into an interesting pose. Something that someone might want to take a picture of, but still something that you can hold, because after all, at any moment I might tell you to freeze, and then you're stuck in that pose, which might be nice for anyone that you would let take a picture of that to show you later when you're unfrozen again. And maybe you could move into a different pose until it's time to freeze again, and you stay stuck, frozen, maybe smiling, or maybe some other expression stuck on your face until I say unfreeze. That's right. And you can move any way that seems right for you, any way that seems to suit the moment, adjusting, getting yourself more comfortable, wiggling. That's right, until I say freeze, and then there's no more wiggling, no more moving, because you're stuck, frozen, still as a statue, holding it just like playing freeze tag until I unfreeze you. That's right. You can move again if you like. Find a different pose, a different position, or just move to see yourself obeying as you freeze, to see yourself stuck, to know that you can pull and strain against it. As long as you hold on to that suggestion, don't cancel it, you're frozen. You're controlled, you're obeying until I say unfreeze. That's right. And then you're unfrozen, and you're moving until I say freeze. And then you freeze, just like that. That's right. Stuck, still, frozen, bound, obeying. Obeying so deeply, perhaps. Maybe even your thoughts feel a little bit more frozen, a little bit more stuck until I say unfreeze. And then your thoughts and your body, your mind is moving again. until I say freeze again, and you stop, training yourself to respond, to obey, to listen, until I say unfreeze, and let you shake it off, shake it loose. Get comfortable and relax, and let yourself know that I am pleased that you have done a good job obeying and responding to that trigger to freeze. Alright, I'll let you unfreeze now and count you up, bring you out of this trance, but of course you know that any time you want to train yourself a little more, you could listen again. But for now, I'm going to count from 1 to 10, and when I get to 10, you'll be awake again, saving this trigger for another time, if you like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Wake. Thank you for listening.